Good morning, students. Hello and welcome back to KVS Jabalpur Region online classes. I am Komila Mirani, PGT English from Kendriya Vidyalaya number 3 Sagar, and I am here with the second lecture of the chapter 2 of textbook Vistas of class 12 English. The name of the chapter is The Tiger King by Kalki. Let's quickly recapitulate the points that we had discussed in the first class. This story, as you all will remember, contains a moral lesson. It's about the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram in an ironical and satirical style. The king is overpowered by vanity. He is overconfident. He wishes to conquer death. He devotes his entire life to tiger hunting and tiger killing. Once he came to know that his death would be caused because of a tiger, he pledged that he would attend to all the other matters of the administration and his family only after killing 100 tigers. He even married a royal princess from a neighboring state that had large tiger population. He found the 100th tiger with great difficulty, but he was ignorant of the fact that the 100th tiger had not been actually killed by himself. This was the last point that we had discussed in the previous class. Now we have to start from page number 16 of the textbook. I hope all of you have got the text downloaded in front of you. Whenever you attend classes for language, always take care that you have the text in front of you. So this is page number 16. The Maharaja thinks that he has killed 100 tigers and he has proved the state astrologer wrong. But the fact is, as it has been mentioned on page number 15, that the bullet that he had fired to kill the 100th tiger did not hit the tiger, but the tiger had just collapsed out of fear. The king went away announcing that the carcass of the tiger should be brought to the palace, and there the Maharaja would get built a grave and a tomb in memory of the 100th tiger. Now the king's men, they were so frightened, they were so fed up of all this that they decided to kill the 100th tiger, and they also decided that this news will not be disclosed to the Tiger King. So the truth is that this 100th tiger was not killed by the Tiger King himself, it was killed by the hunters. Now, as per the instructions of the king, the tiger's dead body was carried in a procession and the tiger was given a proper burial. A tomb was erected over its grave. The Maharaja was extremely elated, overjoyed, happy that he had been able to conquer his death, and now he started devoting his attention to administrative and family affairs. The story takes a little jump now. Further we see that the Maharaja has a little son. The crown prince is 3 years old. It is his birthday. And since the son is from a royal family, the birthday celebration is also meant to be royal. So the king wanted to gift his son something memorable. He wanted to buy a present that would represent something great. So he went to a toy shop He searched for many things. Ultimately, he could only find a wooden toy tiger. So he purchased a wooden toy tiger for his son's 3rd birthday. But unfortunately, this toy tiger was made by an unskilled carpenter. The shopkeeper quoted very high price for the for the toy tiger. He did not want to be punished by the king. He was so afraid of the king. And he quoted 300 rupees as the price for this little invaluable toy tiger. Now the king, he did not make any payment to the shopkeeper. He asked the shopkeeper to consider the object as a little gift to the crown prince from his side. So he took the toy tiger home. The whole day the Maharaja spent time with his 3-year-old son playing with the roughly carved toy tiger. And now what happened? Unknowingly, a tiny sliver of wood. Sliver is a small piece of wood, a quill, a splinter that sometimes we find on roughly carved wooden surfaces. You can see this image. This is a sliver, a small sliver. Many a times we would have been pierced by a sliver or a quill or a splinter. So this little splinter from the toy tiger, it pierced into the hand of the Maharaja. In a very short time, this injury, it developed into an infection, and finally in 2 or 3 days only, the infection spread all over his arm and was converted into a suppurating sore. Suppurating sore. Sore means a serious injury. Suppurating, an injury that has got inflamed, that has got pus in it, that cannot be healed, that cannot be cured very soon. So that little injury from a sliver of wood, it became a serious sore. Now, since he was a king, doctors were called upon from Madras. 3 surgeons operated upon the hand of the king, and ironically, the king died while being operated upon. The surgeons came out of the operation theatre and declared, see the statement of the surgeons. The statement is, the operation is successful, the Tiger King is dead. It's on page number 17 of the textbook. So the doctors, they declare that the operation is successful, the Tiger King is dead. What do they mean? It's an ironical comment. Now, as I told you in the first lecture of this chapter, that the author has made a very excellent use of irony and satire and humor in this story. Now the big question is, what is ironical in the death of the tiger? The first important fact is that when the king killed the 100 tiger, he was elated and overjoyed because he thought that he had fulfilled his vow. He had disproved the prediction of the state astrologer. He was living comfortably now, thinking that no tiger could cause harm to him. He ordered the dead tiger to be taken in a procession through the town, celebrated his victory by getting a tomb erected over the dead tiger's grave. All the time he didn't know that the 100 tiger was not killed by him but by the hunters. This is irony only, situational irony. Death is lurking all around him and he is unaware of it. Now, again, the ironical thing is that a king who has killed 100 tigers, if not 100, at least 99. So bold and fearless king dies just because of a small sliver injury. Ironically, his death is caused by a tiger, even though it's a wooden tiger. The next irony is in the statement of the doctors who came out from the operation theatre and declared his death. What did they state? They stated, the operation is successful, the Tiger King is dead. In this way, the reader feels that the final revenge has been taken by the 100th tiger. This is also an important question. It can come in the form of a short question of 2 marks or a question of 6 marks, that how did the 100th tiger take his final revenge on the Tiger King? Or the question could be, what is the irony in the incident of the Tiger King's death? Now, I also mentioned in my previous lecture that the author has also made use of dramatic irony. Just now I have mentioned it, dramatic irony. Now, what is dramatic irony? It's a change that has been made by the writer or the author willfully to give a sudden twist to the incidents that the readers are not expecting. Now, what do we expect? We expect that this king, who's bold and brave, who's a warrior of warriors, who has devoted his life to killing 100 tigers, did we expect that he would die of a prick of a tiny wooden splinter? So this is the dramatic change in the chain of events that has been introduced by the author deliberately to make the story interesting. The character, the central character or the hero of the story, he does not expect the actual circumstances, and he expects the opposite of what destiny has got in store for him. After killing the first tiger, the king very proudly flaunts the carcass before the astrologer to show that he is more powerful than the tiger. And at that moment only, the astrologer had warned him that he should be extremely careful with the 100th tiger. But what did the king do? He chooses to prove the astrologer wrong and makes feverish efforts to kill 100 tigers. The next incident, the 100th tiger is an old and weak tiger. Then also it is not killed. It collapses of shock. The hunters and the reader, as well as the king's officers and minions, they soon come to know that the tiger has not been killed. The king feels extremely happy, but he is ignorant of the reality. He doesn't know what is waiting for him in future. The astrologer's prediction proves wrong, and the Tiger King's death is caused by a wooden toy tiger. And the astrologer's predictions stand vindicated or stand proved. Now, how is the Tiger King a political satire? In the beginning, when I introduced the lesson to you, I stated that this story is actually a political satire. It's a perfect example of today's political order. What's the truth? What is satire? Satire is a literary device in which the mistakes, the foolish acts of people are pointed out with an intention of bringing change in the habits, in the actions of the people. This story also points out the follies and behaviors of the Maharaja's minions, his servants, his officers towards him. Are they truly sincere towards him? Or are they driven only by fear? Or are they respectful towards him? So the answer is that it's mere fear that they are obeying him. Now, how is it an example of satire in today's society, in today's political system? We see that most people, not all, most people in power are in power, and they extend a great influence on the system because people are afraid of them. Now these people who are afraid, those who are frightened of the powerful, the influential, they keep on serving the so-called leaders for their own selfish interests. And in doing so, they forget the welfare of the country, the welfare of the society. Here also, the Diwan, the hunters, they prove so. The Diwan, he arranges for a royal princess upon the orders of the king. The king wanted to marry a girl from a state where there was good tiger population. Later on, when the 100th tiger was not to be found, the Diwan realized that he would lose his job. Many other officers would lose their jobs. The king was doubling the taxes. It was sure that he would lose his kingdom. So the Diwan had his own vested interest in it. He didn't want to lose his job. He was not at all worried about the life of the king. So somehow he arranged for the 100th tiger from the People's Park of Madras. Later on, when the Tiger King went away after shooting the 100th tiger, unaware of the fact that the tiger had not been killed. Here also, the hunters, the king's minions, they could have told the truth. If they were really concerned about the life of the Tiger King, they could have disclosed the truth to the Tiger King, allowed him to kill it himself. But what did they do? They hunted the tiger secretly and never informed it to the king. This is the system which is going on today also, continuing today also, which is corrupting the society. Now, one more theme that has been discussed in this story is about game hunting. Today, when we talk about ecological balance, environmental issues, animal hunting, it's a big issue. Many countries over the world, they have banned wild animals hunting, and especially tigers. They are animals that have been taken care of, the king of the forest. Now, game hunting has been popular in many societies, especially the powerful sections of the society, since times immemorial. Poor animals have always been subjected to the cruelty, to the callousness of human beings. Human beings have always used their power and influence to destroy life on the earth, thinking themselves to be the masters on this earth. It's very recently that human beings have realized that wisdom lies in coexisting If you remember the chapter, The Ailing Planet, from class 11. So man had always been destroying the earth, but now he has realized that if he wants to survive, he would have to allow the other species on this planet to survive. Human beings have deprived the nature of its flora and fauna in the name of civilization, progress and development. Wild animals have always been hunted for food, for fun, for sport or entertainment. Millions of species have become extinct or are on the verge of extinction. Tigers are one such species of animals. So what's the lesson that we learn here? The lesson is live and let live should be the dictum, and that killing for pleasure is a great sin. If we continue to do this, our end will be very near. Now the moral of the story. There are different morals that are woven into the incidents of the story. The biggest moral is that today there is a great need to create a system for ecology which takes care of all the people and all life upon earth. No one is big, no one is small. Everyone, everything in this world, in this scheme of nature, has its own important place and it needs to be respected. Human beings think that they are powerful. They are at the stronger side. They can exploit nature irrationally, but they are wrong. One day, life on earth will be a nightmare. Current situations in the world also point towards it. Nature's anger and fury, if the nature gets angry, then we human beings, we don't have the power to control nature's anger, and the results will of course be disastrous. So what's the need? The need is that we should learn to coexist with each other, with all kinds of life forms on this earth, and help in maintaining the ecological balance. There is a saying, pride comes before a fall and death is the great equalizer. Now, what does this saying mean here in this context? It means that when someone's end is near, he becomes proud, he becomes vain, he loses his power of reasoning and logic, and he acts in such a way that leads to his downfall. The Tiger King also does so, because his fall was sure, his downfall was sure. Even after knowing, even after being warned that what would be his fate in future, he kept on acting in the direction in which he shouldn't have acted. And finally, the tigers or the nature or destiny, whatever you say, it took its revenge. So, it's necessary that we as human beings, we should learn to respect life and take care of all creatures on this earth. So in a statement, the moral should be that arrogance and power of human beings is nothing as compared to destiny and power of nature. There is something in nature which is more powerful than us, which is leading life in this world, and that power needs to be respected. One more issue that has been raised by Kalki in this story is bribe. Today the society is suffering from various evils, and one such evil that is corrupting the society is bribery. And I hope all of you remember the incident in the story which points out this issue. When a British officer, the Durai, visits the kingdom of Pratibandhapuram and he wants to hunt tigers because he knows that Pratibandhapuram is a tiger-rich state. Now, since the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram has vowed to kill 100 tigers himself, he has banned tiger hunting in his state. He refuses permission to the British officer and he stands in danger of losing his kingdom because he has not fulfilled the wishes of a British officer, and it's the British times and Indian princely states, they had to relent to the wishes of the British officers. So what does this Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram do? In order to save his kingdom, in order to fulfill his promise of killing 100 tigers, in order to serve his own vested interests, he offered a bribe. By mistake it's written brave here, it's bribe, of 50 diamond rings worth 50 lakhs of rupees in order to save his kingdom. Now, who does this money belong to? It belongs to the public. What right does the king have to misuse this money that belongs to the public? He has done nothing for the welfare, for the interests, for the common public in the last 10 years. How does he have the right to use the money of the public? But he is blind in his ambition. He just wants to prove the astrologer wrong and therefore he wants to save his kingdom. To satisfy his ego, to ensure his own long life, he uses the method of bribe. He adopts bribery. So both the king as well as the British officer, they resort to bribery, that is an evil. Now the very important question that can be asked in the examination is, justify the title. Why has the story been titled as the Tiger King? So just in short, the few points that can be used, that the whole story revolves around tigers. The king has vowed to kill 100 tigers to fulfill his pledge. His frenzy, his anger, his ruthlessness, it's as fierce as a tiger. He dies of a tiny sliver prick from a wooden tiger, and the destiny took its final revenge on the Tiger King. One more theme or one more issue that has been raised is superstitions. What are superstitions? Beliefs that have no logic, no reasoning, but people believe in them. For example, people in India believe that if a cat crosses the way, it would bring bad luck. So it's a superstition. Now, here astrology, we cannot say that it's a complete superstition, but many times the predictions, like the prediction in this story, that since the royal prince, the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram, at the time of his birth it was forecast that since he was born in the hour of the bull, and bull and tiger are enemies, therefore his death would be caused because of a tiger. So the astrologer predicted this. The little prince grew up. When he came to know about this incident, the prince, who had been brought up or reared in a complete English environment, scientific environment, if you remember, he starts on the mission of tiger hunting just to prove the astrologer wrong. When being an educated human being, he should have known that human beings cannot escape death. Death is inevitable. Thank you. Keep reading. Read the story thoroughly. Go through the questions that are given on page number 17 of the textbook. Explore the question papers of last at least 7 years. Find the questions that have been asked from the story The Tiger King. Make a list of those questions and try to answer them in your notebooks. Thank you all.